Hey everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of album number 4 by rapper Big Sean. It's called I Decided. You guys probably remember my review of Dark Sky Paradise, considering it's still my most viewed video of all time on this channel. Teamed up with the Needle Drop, had him on to discuss the album after he infamously just said no over and over again on his channel for his review of the album. We discussed it, and while I did like it a bit more than he did, I think we both had a lot of problems with it at its core. A lot of those problems have cleared up on this new record, I Decided, and I was pleasantly surprised. I would say that I was a little bit excited to listen to this album after loving the single Bounce Back and even enjoying the single Moves as well. It's short, sweet, bass heavy, gets the job done. It's catchy, it's repetitive, but it's got some great verses from Big Sean, exactly what I would want in him. Now, Big Sean, at its core, it's just something that you have to really get yourself in the mindset for, I would say. Not all of his verses are going to work for everyone, and sometimes his flows are a little bit sleepier, a little bit drearier. This album could almost be called like late, deep thoughts with Big Sean, just him sitting reflecting with a notebook late at night, writing down some of his relationship thoughts or some of the things that he's seeing with his friends or just problems with his family or not talking to his mom enough. These are things that creep into the mind before one sleeps a lot of the time, and I kind of like that. I'm not poking fun at Sean here. It's just something that I could see myself doing, and on that level, it is a bit relatable. So I really enjoy that he goes for a variety of different topics here. He's got some great guest features on here, including a killer verse from Eminem that I really didn't appreciate all that much at first, but I started listening to it over and over again, and it really grabbed me. Some of the wordplay is absolutely incredible, just proving that Eminem, still in his 40s, is on top of his game now more so than ever. The production has a lot of big stars, including the likes of Metro Boomin, probably the biggest trap producer in the game right now, and I think that he brings something different to the table for Big Sean here. He obviously has some other producers as well, and even on some of these tracks, they kind of switch producers midway through the track, like on the really awesome track that seems like a split personality, Voices in My Head / Stick to the Plan. The first minute and a half are the voices in my head where he's talking about going off, maybe getting involved on some things that maybe he shouldn't be involved with, and then he gets back on the track and the beat changes up and it really grabs you. Stick to the plan. Sean is practically shouting at himself to stay on course, avoid all of these distractions, and keep winning in the game, because obviously there's no competition as Sean is very confident in himself. I really enjoy this album because it brings several different topics to the table like I was talking about. The lyrical content is very interesting to me, and I love some of these tracks, just the way that he kind of almost sings a lot of the hooks himself. Jump Out the Window is a huge example for that for me. I think that it's a very, very catchy track. It's dark in a lot of ways because he's kind of talking about this friend, a female friend of course, that he sees in a situation that's not exactly the best. He wants to rescue her from that, but at the same time, he doesn't exactly know what he's supposed to do, and he feels like he's about ready to jump out a window, and he's kind of trying to talk to her, relay some of these feelings and thoughts, but it's not exactly working very well for him. I love the beat on that one as well. Sean's flows there, and especially the chorus, get me every single time. Oh Me is another one that instantly stood out. This is one that I instantly said to myself, this track is probably about Ariana Grande. Obviously, that's not confirmed. Some of the lines seem to point to that, at least in my opinion, as he's talking about, oh, you got that walk from me, and she has a hit song out right now called Side to Side. I don't know, maybe that's just me and maybe stretching it a little bit thin, but he's basically saying how she said all of these things, he believed it, he trusted her, and maybe she didn't feel the same way, and now she's back in his life again, and he doesn't exactly know what to do or how to trust her or if he should trust her at all, and it makes for a pretty damn captivating tune. You guys have probably been hearing a whole lot about gospel-tinged rap in the past year or so, thanks to the likes of Kanye West and Chance the Rapper, and Kanye has always been a big mentor for Big Sean, and he definitely has his influences on this album. I'm really liking the tracks like Sunday Morning Jetpack, which just is kind of a reflection on youth, some of the things that he remembers, more of an innocent time, and on the track that appears towards the beginning of this record with the Jeremiah feature, Light. I do enjoy that one. It's basically saying, you know, you can't dim us despite all of these things that are happening. He's kind of talking about racial racial profiling, and that's something that you see throughout this record. Even Eminem kind of talking about police brutality and stuff on his guest feature on No Favors. It's a theme that I really think is important at this time, especially like on Light. I think it's one that definitely does take from that kind of gospel style. I will say that some of these tracks kind of run together. The production seems a little bit too samey in places because you've got the same types of producers and they're doing the same types of tracks. And with 14 songs, I'm not going to say that I get bored, but it does get a little bit tedious in places, especially listening to the full 50-minute album. And right at the end of this record on moments like Sacrifices and Bigger Than Me, which is once again like a track with a choir on it, a little bit more of that gospel tinge to it. I think it's an enjoyable reflection that kind of closes out the record, but it goes on a little bit too long for me. And on the moment Sacrifices, while we do get some solid verses and lines from the likes of Migos, obviously the members Offset and Quavo appearing on this track, and obviously Big Sean himself coming through with some good lines here, I don't think it's all that interesting of a beat. I don't think it changes up or is nearly interesting enough to captivate us for a nearly 5-minute song. The overall sameness of that track is the same problem that I have with Halfway Off the Balcony. It just kind of goes up and down, the vocal fluctuations, and it's not interesting to me at all, because what if I did the whole review like this? You would probably click off. The best moments on this record come whenever Big Sean decides to mix it up and talk about new things, explore new territory, and like I said, on moments like Light and No Favors, where he invited Eminem on and Eminem just goes off, tearing into a public figure. Obviously, you guys can look into that for yourself. Read up on Genius. Seriously, there is some great stuff in there. The wordplay, the whole sodomized line, sodomize, sodomize. Oh my God, there's just a lot of stuff going on there. And it's a longer verse too. It just kept going and going, and it's not one of those just little cop-out rap features. No, this is a legitimate huge chunk of the song that fits so perfectly with that up and down kind of chiming synthy airy beat, and it works out perfectly. And then Sunday Morning Jetpack, like I talked about, love that one. It's just got a throwback feel that takes you back into an older world, Sean's childhood perhaps. And then Inspire Me, where he dedicates an entire song to his mother, kind of heartwarming as well. Really enjoy moments like that. Jump Out the Window was another huge moment, Omi, and even Light being just my absolute favorites on this record. Overall, for I Decided, I would say a moderate replay factor. I'm going to give it a strong 3.5 out of 5. A surprising listen for me. I really didn't expect this. Be sure to leave a like on the review today. Let me know other albums I should review in the comment section down below, and subscribe because friends don't let friends go unsubscribed. If you'd like to see my last Big Sean review, click right over here, or another rap review right here. Social media linked in the description, and I'll see you guys very soon right here on ARTV.